Good evening, everyone who's joining. We're seeing our participant numbers climb, so happy to have you all with us. We're going to wait a few seconds to let everyone get in here. Hope everyone's having a good week. Happy Wednesday. Day 5 of a heat wave up here in the greater Providence area today. But it actually felt cool. It was 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Our numbers are still climbing, which is awesome. We're glad to have so many people with us tonight for our Zoom chat. All right, I think we are about ready to get started. So I'll just say hello again. My name is Sandy Cardoza. I'm with Parent and Family Relations here at Johnson & Wales. And we're thrilled to have everyone for our Zoom session on auxiliary services. A lot of areas represented tonight that are important to folks for a variety of reasons. So before we get into the meat of it, just quick reminders. If you've done these with us before, you probably know the drill by now. We will look for your questions in the Q&A feature. So if you scroll under all of our photos at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you see the Q&A, you would click on that, and that's how you can go ahead and ask us questions. The chat is there. We welcome you to use the chat with yourselves, each other, if you want to discuss anything. My colleague Kara, who's always with us behind the scenes, will also be sharing some links and things like that in the chat. So to test the chat, how about if we hear from where everyone is tonight and maybe something you do to stay cool in the summer weather. I know for myself, I love a nice tall glass of ice water. Boring, I know. I like to swim too, but Manhattan, AC's going strong for sure. Us too. Yeah, a lot of AC. Good. Atlanta, yeah, ice water all day. Hawaii, so Hawaii's probably warm all the time. Would love to get there someday myself. Yeah, getting out there early, Thomas, to beat the heat. That's smart for sure. All right, so again, Q&A if you want to ask questions of our panelists. Hopefully everyone has gone through the family online orientation module by now. If you haven't, make sure you do that. You'll find information related to all of these areas there. So that's important. And I want to just quickly acknowledge that we are recording. The reason for that is that we share a video for this after the fact on our website for anyone who couldn't join us live. We even had a family from India reach out and ask about being able to see one of these videos. It wasn't convenient, obviously, for them to do it live, so it's nice to have the recording. And one other thing I want to mention is that we are going to do our best to answer as many questions as possible. So similar to last week, if we are noticing that you have a repeat question, Kara might either address that directly just, in typing, or, we'll reference that. You're welcome to look back at the recording at some point to see the answer to that. So, all right, hopefully I hit all of my pre-startup points here, but enough from me. At this point, I am going to invite our panelists to say hello to you and tell you a little bit about the areas they represent, and then we'll get going right into the questions. So going with the order of photos on my screen, we'll start with John.
Okay, hi, how you doing? My name is John Lawrence. I represent the IT department here at Johnson & Wales, and our team primarily is responsible for making sure all the systems are running and the students have all the tools that they need in order to be successful.
Awesome. Definitely important, especially in these days that we're in right now with so much being virtual. All right, Amanda, how about you next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Rotondi. I am the Director of Dining at the Providence campus. Welcome tonight. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions for me, so we'll try to answer them all tonight. And if we don't and we need to connect, we can definitely do that as well.
Great. And I see the first question actually is already related to dining, something that we know is on people's minds. So we're going to just let our last two presenters introduce themselves real quickly, and then Judy, we will get right to your question. So Denise, how about you next?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Nerix. I represent Wildcat Wheels. We transport all around campus for you to get to and from classes and labs. So feel free to email me also any additional questions.
Excellent. Yeah, our Wildcat Wheels, the drivers are wonderful people. Good to have you with us tonight, Denise. And certainly, last but not least, is Molly.
Hi, my name is Molly Peabody, and I am the store manager of the Johnson & Wales Harborside Bookstore. As many of you know, we do have 2 bookstores on our Providence campus, one at Harborside and one at Down City. So I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have, bookstore related or uniform related. Happy to have you.
Excellent. All right, so let's get going. Judy has the question of the day, and we're seeing some conversation about this in our social media as well. So Amanda, if you could talk about what's happening with meal delivery during quarantine and maybe clear up any misconceptions about whether or not students are going to be fed.
Okay, so everyone's going to eat. Okay, so I want you to be reassured of that. So quarantine is going to look a little bit different depending on when it's happening. So if you are referring to quarantine prior to the first day of classes, that'll look a little bit different than quarantine if your student needs to quarantine during the academic year due to whatever reason, maybe getting a red X when they're doing the screening app, or they feel ill, or whatever that might be. So that Monday, Wednesday, Friday delivery for quarantining is during the academic year. So we are very lucky that we have worked with a smaller population of students during the summer lab time right now from July 6th, I think it started. And we were able to work with a smaller population of students that needed to quarantine for that time as well. So we did this procedure of Monday, Wednesday, Friday deliveries. The student is able to choose how many entrees they want, how many sides they want, how many drinks they want for that time period. So what I do is I communicate with them and I say, all right, order as much food as you need to get yourself through until the next delivery. So the mom in me says right back to them, are you sure this is enough food? Because I want to make sure they are full. Because we get it, right? This is a very unique situation. And whenever we can, you know, have snacks provided for them. I know a couple weeks back, there was a parent that had mentioned that when we had students that had come prior to starting their classes, we did prep the rooms to have snacks in there in case there was a time period where we couldn't get to them right away, right? So we will make sure that your students eat, and if they need anything, just reach out.
All right, awesome. Hopefully that answers that question. John, there's a couple here that I think you could weigh in on. Login info for devices in the res halls, and do we offer suggestions for laptops?
Okay, yes. So login information for devices. Once you get on campus, you can connect your devices to our guest Wi-Fi using your JWU login information, which is your username and your password. You can have up to 15 devices. So if you talk about it like attaching your phone, it'd be just like attaching to a normal Wi-Fi. Same thing with any tablets, same thing with any game systems you may have. It's all going to be going through the same system. And there will be information with the residence hall advisors that will be able to help you out. And next question.
If I could interrupt real quickly. So the students look for guest Wi-Fi, is that correct?
Yeah, so we have, every student has access to the guest Wi-Fi, and it's all through the entire campus, through Harborside and Down City. So you have full coverage, and it's a very robust system with some high speeds. Some people have asked in the past about Ethernet cables plug in. Not all residence halls have Ethernet drops. So you may just want to check with your residence halls to see if they do or not. So the next question up was Eva with suggestions on laptops.
Yep.
I've always said that, you know, we don't recommend any specific model. What we do say is kind of based upon what classes you're in. If you are in some of the engineering classes or graphic design, well, that may dictate a higher end laptop. Like if you're in design, you'll want to bring in a MacBook. If you are in the engineering program, you may want a bit of a beefier computer to handle a lot of the engineering software. But for most people, any laptop is going to work fine for you. Most of our things are going to be online. I know people who have used Chromebooks and have been able to do everything that they can. But if you bring in let's say you bring a Chromebook or another laptop that doesn't fully meet it, we still have our computer labs open. So maybe you can do your work on your computer up to wherever you can, and you may finish it up on a couple small things in the computer labs or in our libraries.
Okay. Just a quick follow-up for you, John. Another question that Kara has given me a heads up on related to IT. Can you explain the difference between the J number email address and the wildcats.jwu.edu email address?
Good question. Okay, the official login for any of the Windows, any of the devices we have on campus. So if you go to a computer lab or if you go anywhere else, it's going to be based on your J number. They have the Wildcat email, kind of more of a friendly looking way of doing email that you can use also. So they're the same email account. So if someone could send you an email to j000 whatever at jwu.edu or to your whatever name at Wildcat is. It's whichever one you want it to look like. So.
And if students are asked to provide their email address, I often see the at wildcats.jwu.edu. And maybe that's because of people not wanting to share their J number.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a recommendation.
You know, I think it's all depends on what's being asked. You know,
Sure.
I think most students end up getting used to just using their J number on everything.
Okay.
That is one thing to remember. So if you log into a computer in the lab, you're using your J number. And things like that. So I think people just end up using your J number more, but you still have the friendlier version of it.
Great. All right, Denise, a couple for you. So equine students, if they want to get out to that barn at 8 a.m., what time do they need to get the shuttle?
So we work with Equine Direct, and what they do is it takes a half hour to drive up there and a half hour back. So if you have riding at 8, what they do is they have usually a vehicle that leaves 7:30 at Gaby Commons. Everything is from Gaby Commons, and they go right up to the barn. So 7:30 gets you there right for the 8 o'clock.
Great. And John also asked a question about accessing the bus schedule online.
Yep, so we have it through the JW mobile app. It's actually under construction right now. So if you actually click on it, it will say, please be advised, they're still revising it. And we hope to have that completely updated for the academic year by the end of next week. And then you can also access it through the main webpage. That's also goes right sort of to the mobile app. And then we make sure that if we have any holiday schedules or cancellations due to snow, we also have a special schedule that gets posted for them to look at it.
Okay.
It's snow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that JWU mobile app is a fantastic resource for students. So hopefully all of our students get that mobile app onto their phones, and they're going to find it helpful for a lot of different areas. All right, so now Molly, I'm glad that everyone's getting questions tonight. This is awesome. Molly, how will returns work for our culinary students who the uniforms might not fit?
Okay, great question. So returns will be handled on campus. We will be issuing our returns out of the Delaney Gym, which is right next to the Harborside Bookstore. We will have signage out front to let everybody know where to go. We will be starting any exchanges or whatnot for pants beginning August 17th. Will be set up in that gym. I'm not quite sure what our hours are going to be yet, but definitely keep track of the Wildcat Welcome website, and we will have our hours posted. We'll likely do it in shifts based off of social distancing and whatnot. As for chef coats, if they don't fit, since they are embroidered with the student's name, we're asking if you can try to get them altered to fit. I know the sleeves can be very long for students. Those can absolutely be hemmed up to the wrist. I believe ChefWorks has also provided another site to order additional coats on. I do not have that site, unfortunately, but someone can email me and I can get that to you. But we will be handling the returns and the exchanges. We also have additional coats for purchase in the store. If flat out your coat just does not fit, you can purchase a name tag through nametag.pvd at jwu.edu. Those are $5, or you can have the chef coat embroidered on your own. We are working with a local vendor that will do the students embroidering for $15 per coat.
Excellent. And you mentioned you might not know all your hours yet, but there was a related question, someone asking, is the bookstore going to be open, like, you know, when students start moving in and whatnot?
Absolutely, yes. As of right now, we will be open. We are open limited days and hours now. So if you're local, please feel free to come by before classes start, and we'll be happy to see you. But based off of capacity limits and whatnot, we will be limiting the number of people in our store. So please, if you do feel like shopping, please keep it to a minimum amount of people in the store, just like we're doing now at grocery stores. You know, if dad doesn't want to come in and he's just going to pay, then, you know, we can call him in when it's time to pay. You know, it happens, you know, or vice versa, you know, or if, you know, the student wants to come in and shop and say, okay, you know, mom, dad, this is what I have picked out. Student leaves, we can hold it for them. You guys can come in to pay. We're really trying to limit the amount of students and parents that we have in our stores. That way people aren't waiting outside in the hot sun. It's really hot usually during move-in, but we will be open.
Okay. Couple of follow-up uniform related questions. And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but as far as how students are notified that they need to order uniforms, am I correct that Kathy Kavanaugh, the events office, they automatically are reaching out to students who are in those majors that need a uniform?
Correct. And those emails should have already gone out at the beginning of July. So if you have not gotten an email, I suggest that you contact the events office, and their email is events@jwu.edu.
Right.
And she can go ahead and send you the link. I would follow up on that fairly quickly, as there is a deadline to order uniforms.
Right, and their students should be looking through their email also. And
Absolutely.
it might be there that they just missed it.
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. So be sure you're checking for any students that, for whatever reasons, do not have a uniform or did not get it in the mail in time. We will be issuing uniforms at the Delaney Gym, so there is no need to worry if you did not get one already.
Okay, and there was a question about the pants. Do you know if they're sized by waist only? Or does the length vary, or should they plan to that they need to have them hemmed?
Yes, plan on having your pants hemmed. They will all run long, but the waist, most students should have gotten an elastic waist check pants for their chef pants. If you received a pant with a zipper and belt loops and those do not fit, those can be exchanged in the Delaney Gym after August 17th.
Great. All right, so Eva, I see a question about the size of the fridge. That's definitely a Res Life question. So we would recommend that you contact Res Life. I know Caitlin, when she was with us 2 weeks ago, did talk about that, but I don't want to give you any erroneous information. So either look back at the recording from 2 weeks ago or reach out to Res Life and they can let you know for sure what the size is on the fridge. All right, Amanda, back to you. I think you talked about this a little, but maybe more clarification. Meal delivery for students who quarantine before the academic year starts.
Sure. So we have a really good plan that we're ready to roll with. So we will have food delivery available for each of your students that are coming in 2 weeks prior to the start of classes, 2 to 3 times per week, and the same type of process. So the student will be able to choose their entrees, choose their sides, choose their beverages. They can use their meal plan. These are all incoming students, so if they're in traditional housing, they have to have meal plans. So we'll use their meal plan. There's no other cost for that. So we will work directly with your student to make sure that they have everything that they need during that time. And we also will be, so they're either coming on the 11th or the 12th to quarantine. So we will also, starting on the 10th, have snacks and beverages ready for them to grab when they grab their keys when they arrive in their res hall. So they will have snacks. They're going to be ready to go. And then we'll work with all of your students to make sure that they have everything that they need for those 2 weeks.
And maybe you could speak also, there's a couple of questions I'm looking at that kind of touch on what types of options will students have once we're really, classes have started, like are the dining halls going to be open? Can they go in? What type of variety will students have? I think that would cover Heidi's question and also another question we've got here.
Great. So we have a lot of options, and specifically we're open right now, and Starbucks isn't going to be the only option. I can't promise you that your student isn't going to pick Starbucks as their only option, because that tends to happen, that they love their strawberry refreshers, iced coffees, and all of that. But we will have dining facilities open. We will have hot meals available. We will have cook to order stations available. There will be no self-service of those items though. So as you know, there's no buffet service, but that doesn't limit us to what we can offer the students. So currently we have Red Sauce and Starbucks open because we're only open on the Harborside campus at this time. And we have the cook to order pasta station open. We added a stir fry cook to order station there as well. We have grab and go takeout meals. So I had said this a couple weeks back with the Living on Campus series, but don't think of grab and go as just a sandwich and chips. Think about grab and go as entrees already pre-packaged for your student that are ready to be heated up either on property, or they can bring it back to their res hall and heat it up there. So we want your student to be able to eat how they want to still, and we want to still be able to give them what they want. So we want to make sure that we have the variety that we always have, that we have the service that we always have, and that we're following all of the guidelines from Department of Health, the governor, the university, everyone. So yes, there will be variety.
And I don't know if this is further down in the questions, Amanda, but I think it's always helpful when you explain to families like that a student can get a meal, if you will, at Starbucks, like the difference in meals and swipes. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, so actually,
and swipes.
so one like silver lining of COVID-19 is that we have adapted as well, right? So what we're offering and how we're offering it has evolved. So I was just talking to the Starbucks team this morning, and looking at, do we add things to the offerings that we have there? So there are many options. So if your student, I say this usually, if your student is spending less than $5 at a location, they should use their flex dollars, okay? If your student is spending more than $5 or getting multiple things, they should be using a swipe. Don't waste your flex dollars on $12 order at Starbucks when they could use a meal plan swipe for that. So yes, like Sandy said, you could get an iced coffee and a breakfast sandwich, and that could be your breakfast on a morning, right? So there are different options. We have paninis, there's wraps, there's bagels. If you don't want the bagel right now, grab the bagel and have it later. So make sure that the cashiers and the baristas, they're going to prompt your student. They're going to say, are you sure you don't want something to eat with your drink? Are you sure you don't want to grab a croissant to take later? Get the croissant, take it with you, throw it in your backpack, and have it for later. Don't waste your meal swipe.
Great. All right. Interesting question from Heidi about generators and referencing, with the importance of internet and all and power outages. I'm pretty confident we have generators. Can you touch on that, John? Do you know?
That would be a facilities question, and I think we have some generators, but power outages can happen if the grid goes down. So I think that like I said, there's probably facilities. So I will just say, I know we had an outage this week on the Harborside campus, and it was down for a few hours until the grid came back up, but it was localized. So anything that happens should be short term, and it's not a common occurrence.
I'm wondering if that's something that Director Rose could actually speak about maybe in a couple of weeks when we've got safety and security here, because I know sometimes they're involved when things like that happen, like with snowstorms and stuff.
Mm.
All right, John, also, if the student's living off campus, what do you recommend for Wi-Fi?
If you're living off campus, you're going to be getting some internet provider, whether it's Cox or Verizon or any of the other smaller ones that may be up in the area. Just get what you need. I'm not sure on where you'll be living, or your living arrangements. If you're going solo, well, then you probably want to find something that is good for a single person. But if you're going to go in with a bunch of other people in one apartment, kind of pull your resources and see what you get. So if you're single, one person, and maybe do a little bit of streaming, go for the low end. But as for a vendor, Cox, Verizon, they're pretty stable, especially if you're in or around Providence. They have pretty good coverage.
Okay. So there's a question about a student that has a class on campus, then followed by a remote class with not a lot of time. This really is more of a student academic services type question. You know, where could a student go in situations like that to be able to do the remote class? So I'm thinking the library off the top of my head, but I would recommend that family reach out to student academic services to ask for sure to get information from them. Again, my understanding is that both libraries are going to be open, again, with limitations maybe on how many people can be in them at any particular time, but that is a quick thing that comes to my mind on that one.
And this is fairly new. This is fairly new for us also, and things keep changing. I do know that we have been working on getting most of our classrooms configured to be a synchronous classroom. So if you have something that's on campus, it may be half an hour in the classroom, half an hour out, and whatever's being done in the classroom is being streamed via Zoom or collaborate out to everyone else. So that doesn't really answer your question, but I'm just telling you what some technologies we'll have in the classroom.
Yeah, no, I know your area, I'm sure, is super busy. And, you know, I'm really glad you just said that too, because I think we should all acknowledge, obviously, we're giving you information that's current as of 7/27 on this Wednesday evening, July 29th. Could it look different by 7/27 tomorrow morning? You never know. We hope not, but just want to put that out there that, again, the nature of the situation is ever changing. But we are certainly doing our best to give you the best information that we can. So how would a student find out what that Wildcat email address is if they don't know it?
I don't know. But what I would say is if you log on to JRU Link using your J number, there's a button in there for email. Your default email, as you send it out, will probably be your Wildcat email. So go up there, click on email, send yourself an email, and you'll probably find it that way.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend too that students just take some time exploring JRU Link, all the different tabs on it, and they'll find a lot of great stuff on there. Denise, is there a limit to the number of students that can ride on the bus at any given time?
So technically right now, following the state of Rhode Island's standards, we are only allowed, so our buses normally hold 40. We're only allowed at 66% capacity, which is 28. They are hopefully going to allow us to increase that a little bit more, which will be basically to 35. But I do have buses at key times on standby. So in other words, we have to wait and see what the first couple of days hold. And then at that point where we need to put extra buses for overloads, we'll be more than happy to.
Okay. And Erin, a little bit further down, asked approximately how long is the ride from Harborside to Down City?
Okay, so it depends on the time. Normally it's 8 minutes. So during peak time, it could be 12. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. So I always say to the students, be at the bus stop 5 minutes before the time that it's posted, just to be safe. We'll be keeping social distancing at the bus stop. And then I always keep updating on the Twitter, which is at JWUPVD Wheels update. So if there's a traffic delay, if there's an accident where we have to detour, I at least let the students know ahead of time, heads up, the buses are running 20 minutes late. You might want to get on an earlier bus. So we try to keep you updated, but normally it's 8 to 12 minutes. That's the longest normally, unless they really take a scenic route.
Okay. And there was another question about the bus frequency on runs to Imperial.
Okay, so we no longer service Imperial Hall. We used to turn around and offer services unfortunately, there's becoming a traffic issue in that area, congestion. They're doing some major construction. So currently right now, it is within walking distance of the campus itself. So technically, no. At nighttime, yes, buses will be able to, because normally the construction closes down after 3 p.m. So we will have some service. Any bus going from Gaby to Harborside, you just let the driver know you would like to get dropped off at Imperial, and they'll be more than happy to accommodate you.
Okay. And there was a question, I think maybe Amanda and Denise could comment on this. Someone's asking, will there be a decrease in schedules, like, you know, bus schedules or dining hours, now that there's only first-year students on campus without all those upperclassmen?
I'm just going to answer my part first, quick, Amanda. Okay, as of like 7:32 today, the schedules are currently okay, and we're not noticing a big difference. The only big difference we are going to is do very limited service on the weekend. But if everything goes good, we're still going to have pretty much 15-minute service at every facility going into the city and out of the city to their facility.
Thank you. Amanda?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so currently, sorry, my children are, this is working from home, COVID-19, sorry about that. Okay, so.
The gift of iPads upstairs didn't last so long.
So I apologize. Okay, so we will have hours of operations that go with the class schedule still. So even though that it is just first-year students on campus, there still are culinary students on campus as well. So we'll have hours of operation from 6 a.m. in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, I want to say, maybe a little bit later, and Sunday through Saturday. So we will have options on both campuses available, even though it is really just first-year students and culinary. We still want your students to have the variety and the quality and all of it that they should have. So yeah.
Okay. And students who are not in quarantine, Thomas is asking, will they be able to take advantage of either dine-in and or grab and go?
Yes, absolutely. So right now we also have dine-in options. So right now our Starbucks locations do not have dine-in options. That's it though. Right now they are grab and go. So you place your order, you get your order, and you leave that operation. But Red Sauce is sit down right now, and our operations will have either a dine-in or a takeout option. As you know, the capacity is limited, so the student will, there's a whole procedure for them to sit down. So they will go into a dining room, into the dining room, and they will scan a QR code that they're sitting at that table, and that table gets disinfected after every turn. So yes, they will be able to sit there, and we have all of the procedures to make sure that everyone's safe.
Okay, and Naomi also asked, does the student, like, are they given some kind of a link to order their meals for delivery, or how does that work?
So we really work individually with the student. It depends. So like I said earlier, if it's quarantine during the academic year, I work with that student personally, individually, because there could be dietary restrictions, there could be allergies, there could be preferences, all of it, right? So we want to make sure that we're not wasting any food by just dropping food off to your student, because if they're not going to eat it, that doesn't work for either of us, right? When it's the students that are coming for the 11th and the 12th, we will have a list of students, and we will communicate with Res Life and your student to make sure that they're all set, ready to go. So yes, we will communicate with them. They don't need to reach out to us first. We will reach out to them.
Okay. John, cable hookup?
Okay, if I look distracted at all, it's because I saw this question coming up and I didn't know for sure. So I've reached out to a couple people and I'm waiting for a response. But to the best of my knowledge, there is no cable connections in the res halls.
Okay.
But that's why we also have a robust Wi-Fi, because most people ended up streaming everything. So
Right.
most people come in with a Netflix or the Hulu or whatever else is out there. So the cable wasn't used as much. So that service, I believe, was discontinued a couple years ago.
Okay, thanks. Molly, I think you already touched on this and we can look back, but just real quickly, can they order extra uniforms?
Yes, so we will
Okay.
have extra uniforms at the store for students to purchase or parents to purchase. There is a link to ChefWorks where they can order additional jackets that they want embroidered. They are kind of expensive. You do have to pay for shipping. But if you want to reach out to me individually, I don't have that link here. And I don't know the website off the top of my head, but if you want to email me directly, I can go ahead and share that link with you as well.
Okay. Question about is the store open on weekends as early as this coming weekend?
Not currently, no. Right now, the store is only open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Those hours will most likely be adjusted starting August 17th.
Okay. I think in the academic session last week, there was a recommendation. I mean, I know it might vary family to family what they're most comfortable with, but when to purchase books. So if someone has purchased a book already and the student finds out it's no longer needed, do they have the option of returning it?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially for first year students, we really recommend getting all of your course materials ahead of time. That way you are prepared for the first day of classes. You're not lagging behind. You can actually order your course materials online right now. If you go to jwubookstore.com, it's very easy. You just need to type in the student's J number and a personalized list of all of the course materials will appear. We have things ranging from new books, used books, rental, ebooks are a really big thing this year. So we recommend getting those as soon as possible. I did see a question in here about ordering ahead of time to avoid bottlenecking at the store. Absolutely. We offer both shipping and in-store pickup, so whichever one you're most comfortable with. Our online order pickup is going to be at an alternate location so that we cannot have as many people in the store. That is going to be at Delaney Gym. So we're going to kind of alternate uniform distribution times and exchanges along with textbook pickup. That way, we can keep distancing and whatnot to the best of our abilities. But yeah, it's really up to what you're most comfortable with when you want to order your books. Obviously, on our end, the sooner the better. You have what you need. If you come to find out that you will not need a book, you can absolutely go ahead and return it to the bookstore with your receipt. That's not a problem. We usually give at least 2 weeks after classes start for full refunds. But let's be honest, we're going to give you a refund if you don't need the book anyway. So, but we really want our students to be prepared, especially in this unique situation of somewhat online, somewhat remote, that type of thing.
Okay. Erin, Amanda already touched on this. Definitely dine-in and grab-and-go options will be available to students once the semester starts. So I'll just quickly cover that, and just so we can keep going and get through these. I'm going to jump to Karen. Will Down City Dining be open if only Harborside is open as of now?
So we will open a Down City location. Our plan is to open a Down City location starting the 10th of August because we don't have students Down City yet. So once we have students, there's some RAs that come back early. So there's really not a need for Down City locations, but everything will be open with their fall schedule starting on August 30th. So everything will be open August 30th. And little by little, we start opening everything else back up. But yes, I think it's August 10th. We'll start, Clock Tower should open up.
I was just going to say Clock Tower was really popular last year. When's that opening?
That's the first one.
Cool. A couple of uniform questions, Molly. I don't know if you can answer these, but basically, if you could make this a quick summary, where should the jacket fall? Pants hemmed with a break, no break?
Okay. I'll be honest, I don't know what the hemming means for break, no break. But we do know that if you download the Johnson & Wales handbook, there is in there, it does tell you specifics to where the pants should be hemmed to, which is kind of right like around like the mid shoe level where the shoe falls. And yes, as for the jackets, the culinary deans will not allow anything to come up past the wrist, so you cannot have them altered into short sleeves. You can absolutely tailor that big cuff at the end of the jacket, as long as it doesn't go above your wrist.
Okay. And I would think students can certainly reach out to the dean's office in the College of Culinary Arts. If your student is in their O-team meeting, they might want to ask their orientation leaders about that too, because they are culinary students,
Yes.
just second or third
And
year.
they're very helpful as well.
Good resources. All right. Good. Amanda, there's a question. Can you clarify the heating grab and go on property versus in their room?
Sure.
What on-property options are there?
So my one example is Red Sauce right now. So if I went there for lunch today and if I went there for lunch in September, whenever, and I didn't want to get a cook to order stir fry dish, but I wanted to get chicken tikka already prepared in a container that's held cold, but I wanted to eat lunch with my friend that was getting something cooked to order hot there, I can order my chicken tikka that is cold. I can go into the dining room, scan my QR code that I'm sitting down in the dining room, and I can use the microwave that's inside the dining room to heat up my chicken tikka that's already prepared. If I don't want to sit in the dining room and I want to take my chicken tikka and I want to bring it with me, then I can heat it up in my res hall. So what I recommend is that the students, if it's maybe they're leaving their afternoon lab and they want to have lunch with their friend and they want to bring a cold entree back with them, they can do that. So they can order their meal that they're going to have right now. They can also order their entree that they're going to take home with them. So there's a few different options. And for any location that has these cold takeout meals, yes, there should be microwave stations in those dining facilities. When you say around campus, I'm not sure what other locations are offering as far as hours. So like the Den, I'm not sure what that looks like this year as we evolve. But that would be a location that may have a microwave, or like Xavier downstairs, they had a microwave. I'm not sure exactly with where we are right now, what that looks like, but our dining facilities will have that.
And chances are, if the student themselves doesn't have a micro fridge, they might have a neighbor who has a micro fridge, and students usually aren't bashful about asking
Correct.
to use something like that. So, all right. Couple of questions. It looks like looking for a little bit of clarification on flex versus swipes and where they can be used. Like there's an example, Starbucks red sauce, is it flex dollars? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you answer it, Amanda.
So flex dollars can be used at any dining location on campus, and they can be used on the snack vending machines and the drink vending machines in their res hall, so they don't even have to leave. So mom, dad, friend, aunt, uncle, add flex dollars onto your student account. They don't have to leave their room. They can get snacks right outside. And then meal swipes, they can use meal swipes at any dining location as well. So meal swipes, as I said earlier, I would use that for a meal. I wouldn't use it for an iced coffee in the morning. I would use my flex dollars for an iced coffee. I use flex dollars for anything less than $5 and meal swipe for anything more. And yes, Starbucks, red sauce, all of those locations, meal plan and flex dollars, all of that can be used.
Yeah, and like you said, like Karen asks, how do they know what to use them? If they're not sure, they should ask, right? If your staff doesn't prompt them, the student should simply ask until they kind of get the hang of it and figure out what's the best. Do you still do the sushi over at Liberty Market? And
yeah, so we do the sushi. Well, we will be doing the sushi at Liberty Market and Clock Tower. So yeah, they can use their meal swipes for that. They can use flex dollars. And don't get me wrong, they can use flex dollars for things that cost more than $5. If they find themselves in a situation where they need to use flex dollars for something that's $10, because that's what they want, then they can. If they want to get notebooks and crayons at Liberty Market and they want to use their flex dollars, they can do that as well.
Okay. Denise, can you comment on how late the buses run? Maybe from Harborside to Down City and vice versa? Like, do you know what time the last run of the day will be?
So from Harborside to the city, the last bus 7 days a week, currently right now, is 11:45 p.m. And the last bus 7 days a week, currently right now, would be midnight from Gaby to all residence halls. So that's the last bus.
Okay. Are students going to be required to wear masks on the buses?
Yes, so students are going to, we installed special plexiglass around the driver. So the driver will not have to wear the mask. They'll have it with them, but they'll be behind plexiglass. They'll be able to see their ID because every student has to have a valid JWID photo and a mask to wear. If they cannot wear a mask, then they have to have some type of face shield in order to ride because of the proximity in the bus. They're so close together.
Sure.
So we're doing that. We will be having a station for hand sanitizer and wipes upon entrance into the bus they can use if they wish to also.
Great. Okay. John, this sounds like a techie question
It
to me.
is.
It's over my head. Can students log into email without the Authenticator app?
Yes. So the Authenticator app and logging into JW emails is all linked up to our self-service password reset, where you can reset your own password. And it's also with what we just added on is multi-factor authentication. And you're asking for the Authenticator app because when you go into to register for SSPR and MFA, the first default option is Authenticator app. You can go in that section, drop it down, and choose your phone number instead. We've tried to see if we can default it to a phone number. That's what 95% of the people want, but unfortunately, it's coming in from Microsoft. We can't change that setting, but you can go in and change it from Authenticator app to your phone, because if you change phones, the Authenticator app's not going to work anymore. You're more likely to keep your phone number. And if you get to the point where you're stuck and you can't get out of using the Authenticator app, call the service desk. They can go in, clear out the settings, let it go back in and do it. And once you register through the MFA, the multi-factor authentication, on your device, it should stay active for 90 days, and then it'll prompt you again. Changes on that would be if you log out of your email, it will reset it, and you'll have to do it again the next time.
Okay. I zeroed in on the call the service desk part of that.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So Amanda, if people are either not seeing a meal plan reflected or they want to make a change, is that ResLife or SFS?
I would reach out to ResLife first, just because I'm assuming, like my assumption is that everyone's in traditional housing, so they got a meal plan. But I would reach out to ResLife just to make sure.
Okay. Kellyanne, we see your questions about parking. When can they get parking permits and can they park Down City? So what we've heard from our colleagues in Student Financial Services is that the permits should be available for purchase starting next week. If your student buys a campus parking pass, so that's for the unlimited parking down on Harborside, that does not also qualify for parking in the garage. The Down City garage is completely separate from that. It has its own hourly rates or semester passes. And the main reason for that is that students cannot park overnight in the garage. It's really meant for daytime hours and into the evening. But you might be able to get more information from that on when we have safety and security with us on August 12th. So hopefully that helps give you a little bit of information there. Denise, another follow-up about Imperial. Maybe if the weather's bad, how about pick up at the dark, not just returning, how the bus know to stop. So it sounds like maybe we've got some first year students living at Imperial this year. I don't know.
So technically, we don't have any time set to pick up or drop off at Imperial because of how close it is to walking distance. It's basically a shorter distance than the students that live at Snowden and McNulty walking to Xavier. So I think maybe a parent or the student isn't familiar with how close it is to the campus itself. It's literally right next door to all the classes. So I don't think they're gonna need a actual ride. We don't provide transportation for students that live at Xavier and McNulty to walk up to Xavier.
Right.
So technically, no, we do not provide during, unfortunately, bad weather.
And it's probably similar to what happens down on the Harborside campus also, like students have to walk to a central pickup location.
Yes.
So we don't
Exactly.
stop at each hall on Harborside.
Yeah.
All right. Will the bookstore deliver free to incoming res halls? So do you deliver to the halls, Molly?
Okay, so unfortunately, we do not offer free delivery to the halls, but students can choose on our website which bookstore location they would like to pick up at. So if you have a student living down city, but you need to order from the Harborside bookstore at checkout, you can just choose pick up at Down City, and that student will receive an email when the books have arrived to Down City and when they are ready to be picked up.
Okay. What about, do you price match?
Yes, we do. We price match against, with like a little asterisk next to it, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and most local competitors.
Okay.
And
Shoes.
On
Question.
that at our website.
Sorry if I just interrupted. Question about shoes, Molly?
Yeah, so I know there's been not a lot of communication about shoes. I've also received a lot of question about this. Shoes will be distributed on campus, not by the bookstore, but they will be distributed on campus to culinary students when they pick up their knife kits. I don't know if they've decided on a date or time on that, but it's usually the Saturday or Sunday before classes start. So you do not need to pre-order your shoes. They have plenty of shoes in stock. So you don't need to worry about that, but shoes will be issued with the knife kits as far as I know.
Okay. There's a good question here about rentals. So if a student has rented textbooks and the due dates, are 12/19, how do they get them back to you, knowing that students are going home as of November 20th and finals aren't until after that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you feel as though you're going to need your book for finals, keep it until finals. It will be the student's responsibility to get the book back to us via mail, UPS, FedEx. We have extended our grace period to account for shipping times. So as long as you can get the book back into the mail to us by, the 20th, 21st or so, you should be fine without having to get any extended late fees or anything like that. You can always call us with a tracking number and we can check in the books. If you have any questions about how to get the books back to us closer to that time, I always encourage students to reach out to us and call us. We can help accommodate you guys in any way. We don't want to charge any late fees, especially during a pandemic.
Sure.
So we have extended our times to get the books back, but that doesn't mean that you can send them back January 15th and hope that you're not going to get charged a late fee. We do need the books back in order to be ready for our spring semester in January.
How about on digital books? Can those be returned and how?
Yep. So just like any other refund, you can either come into the store. If you ordered online, reach out to us and we can pull up your packing list and we can do the refund for you remotely as well. But yes, digital textbooks can be returned. They just, I believe, can't be used for like more than 2 weeks. So once you download the book, don't get into it like right now and, start reading chapters for 3 weeks and then decide that you're going to change, you're going to have a schedule change. So we'll make any accommodations that we need to.
Okay. Amanda, someone's asking for a refresher on the red dining place. You want to talk about red sauce quickly?
So red sauce?
Yeah, it just says, what is the red dining place called? Red sauce, but I didn't know if you want to Just
Yeah,
quickly.
so Red Sauce is actually evolving, and when your students arrive on campus, it'll actually be called Harborside Cafe.
Ah,
So
You
surprise!
heard it here first. Okay.
Today and for the next couple weeks, it is still called Red Sauce because we have students here and they're eating on campus right now, so we're not changing the name while they're eating on campus. But yeah, so it'll be called Harborside Cafe. Our menu will evolve a little bit from where it is today, but it has evolved over the last year as well. So yeah.
is it still going to be the go-to place for pizza and pasta, that kind of stuff? Or?
Yeah, definitely. But like we added stir fry station, so
Got
that's
it.
really cool. We added curry station. We added these other takeout meals. So we wanted to be true to what we were saying our
Sure.
name is and what we're offering. So
Yep.
we changed.
Yeah, and I know we share this with families every year, but to really encourage students to get out there and try all the different dining locations, don't just stick to what's closest to their residence hall or closest to their classroom buildings. Really
Correct.
explore both campuses and see what's out there. All right. When students swipe, are they prompted to which type of swipe? Not by the system, right?
So it depends what's going on. Your students are going to, if they're living on campus and they're in a traditional house, then they will have a regular meal plan. I did see this other question pop up somewhere. If your student or you have the Get mobile app, it's GET, that's how you can add additional flex dollars. So you can add year-long flex to your student's account. That'll last the whole academic year. So you can do that. I saw that question pop up. But if a student has Wildcat meals in addition to their regular meal plan, then we could prompt that question. If a student goes to Starbucks and they just got a nice coffee and they said they didn't want that croissant, the barista or the cashier may say to them, are you sure you don't want to use your flex dollars? Especially in the beginning, we want to help your student guide their way through how to use it. Once they get through like 2 days, they know what they're doing and they're going to use all their flex dollars, just so you know. So download the Get mobile app and they're going to want more flex dollars on there.
Do they need to know the student's J number to be able to add money onto the account through the Get app?
The Get app, I believe, is all username based. So it'll be login. So yes, I think you need their J number, but if your student has the Get mobile app, they can just say, request funds from mom, dad, aunt, grandma, friend, Amanda, whoever. And they can just send a text message, you add the funds on, and it's right on their phone and they can pay that way. So it's right there. So it's real time.
Okay, awesome. Interesting question, William. Can students choose to wear a face shield instead of a face mask? I don't know.
I have a little input on this. I was on another webinar with faculty, and one of the faculty asked if they could use a face shield instead of face mask. The answer was no. Because of the guidance from Rhode Island, they need a fabric face mask. So even if they wore a face shield, they would still need to wear a face mask.
Okay. And things like that, I would think if anyone wants to get into more involved conversation on that, health services might be a good office to contact for that. Fitness centers are open. The Harborside Fitness Center is open now. They will be open during the academic year. I believe athletics in our first week indicated that. The limits to how many people can be in there at any one time, but yeah, the plan is to have the fitness centers open.
And Sandy, just to interrupt there, I do want to say that I believe that the fitness centers are by appointment only. So students
Okay.
have to make an appointment so that they can follow those guidelines of capacity limits and whatnot.
Great. This whole question about, Shannon, the question about rentals, Molly just went into that. So if we have time, we'll come back to that question. If not, it is definitely in the recording here. She addressed that in depth. White socks for culinary students need to be crew type with puffs, correct? Do you know?
So they need to at least come up to like mid-calf. That way, if the student were to drop boiling water on their self and their shoe, their shins are somewhat protected. So that's something that's going to be in the Johnson & Wales handbook under uniform guidelines and whatnot. But yeah, they usually come up, the tube socks usually come up to about mid-calf.
Okay. Are your hours on the mobile app, Molly?
I believe we have a link, the bookstore link on the mobile app, and that links to our website, and our hours are listed there.
On the
I did
website.
see a question about Down City. I kind of tentatively heard they will be opening, they're working. They will be opening August 22nd. If you need to see them prior to that, you can always call and we will, make an appointment to let you in the store.
Okay. Denise, there's a question about transportation. Maybe your thoughts on the public transportation in the area. Is it adequate for students to get necessities? Thoughts on, is there any other reason besides getting home that a student would need their own car on campus? But
So,
maybe you could speak to like students getting to Target or something like that.
yep. So we actually offer, well, now we're offering monthly. It's going to be the second Saturday of each month. We're going to offer a bus to take them to the market and to like a Walmart or Target. We haven't figured out which shopping center. We're working with area retail so they can keep up with the demand of us showing up. So we'll be doing that. We're going to have that posted as to taking them. If they want to go weekly, if they need to, we always say is you can use the public transportation. We offer a discount pass for the semester. It's $200, which is normally $3 something through the public transportation direct. The university offers a discount price. You could purchase that through the mobile app. It's called the UPass. And that will take you also to the area shopping centers, but you can also use Uber and Lyft. That is your
Right.
choice too. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and we really are in a great location. I mean, students can walk to a lot. Well, even Harborside, there's a CVS not that far, and Down City you can get to so much. And obviously they can take Wildcat Wheels from Harborside to Down City. So, all right, cool. Baking and pastry students, do they get a knife kit? I'm sorry, my questions just jumped on me.
Yes.
They get their own.
Yes, yeah. So both baking and pastry students and culinary students receive a knife kit. They have different items in each kit, one for baking, one for pastry, or one for baking, one for culinary. But yes,
Okay.
they usually separate the days where culinary students pick up one day, baking pastry
Right.
students pick up another day.
Okay. And you mentioned those Monday, Wednesday, Friday hours. Is that just for now? Because this
Yeah.
family is asking, once students are moving in and parents are on campus, will you be open
Yeah.
like beginning August
Yeah.
11th?
So August 11th is for the quarantine students. So we will not be open any additional hours for those students because they are to be in quarantine. So they really should not be visiting the bookstore at that time due to the quarantining rules. But yes, we will be open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 3 up until at least August 17th, but we may change our hours a little bit sooner.
Okay. So Denise, question about transportation to the airport. We do not provide that, correct?
Correct, we don't.
Okay.
They can take a bus from Gaby Commons to the Cove, and then the train station offers a shuttle to the airport.
Great.
Yep.
All right. And Molly, if you want to just quickly touch on again the whole rental thing with students going home before finals.
Right. So if you're obviously going to need your book for finals to continue your work for remote learning, it will be up to the student to return the book back to us in a timely manner. Yes, the due dates are December 19th. That is the last day of finals. No, you will not be charged late fees on December 20th. We're not going to charge you anything over Christmas. We have extended our grace period by at least 15 days to accommodate for return shipping and whatnot. It will be up to the student to choose a carrier or service of their choice. You don't need to send a package back to us and spend $25 on priority shipping. Drop it off in the mail, whatever's the most reasonable thing in your area. If you forgot and you think you're kind of getting to the point and it's not going to get back to us on time, just reach out to us. We don't want to charge you late fees, especially during this time. So we will make every accommodation that we can in order to help you get these books back in a timely manner, and to avoid any late fees and charges.
Excellent. All right, and it looks like our final question is from Kathy on where do we find the quarantine rules? I believe they're connected to the Wildcat Welcome site. So if Kara hasn't put that in the chat already, we can make sure that's in there. But yeah, for sure, you can find a lot of helpful info there. So, wow, all right, 8:05, we did well. We got through a lot here, and our participants, it looks like the majority of people, we might have even climbed a bit with the number of folks joining us tonight as we went along. So, John, any closing comments from you?
Well, I will release the information ahead of time. I got some feedback. Don't know if that's me or someone else, but I will make an announcement that's going to come out formally next week. All students are going to be getting a licensed version of Zoom tied in with their classes, and that they can use it for their personal needs as well. So it's a paid Zoom license. The official announcement is going to be going out next week to all the campus community, and they should be looking forward to getting email or information from the Wildcat Greetings.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I have a feeling it's going to be out much sooner than next week now.
Well, how to get it will be out next week.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying you will be getting it.
Good. Something to look forward to.
Yes.
Amanda, final thoughts from dining.
I just want to say that we're super excited to have your students on campus, and I can't wait to have more people on campus. The last 4 weeks have been great to have a population here to welcome. But please know that we are here for your students, and we will make sure that they eat. And if anyone has any questions, if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email. I just saw it in the chat. So we can't wait for you to come, and we'll see everyone in less than a month. So awesome. Thanks.
All right. Denise?
Please feel free to also email me if you have additional questions. Anything comes up last minute, just let me know. We're here to help you get around campus, and we hope to see you very shortly. We're excited.
Sure are. And Molly?
Just wanted to say thank you all for coming and joining the session with us. Again, the website to order any books that you need is jwubookstore.com. Really, the sooner the better. If you don't need the books, we can return them. If anyone has any additional questions on uniforms or anything like that, please feel free to shoot me an email as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Excellent.
Excited to have you guys back.
Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to everyone who logged in with us tonight. Next week, we're here again. Next week is Wellness at JWU. So Catherine Rondo, our Director of Health Services, will be with us, as well as Stephanie Dixon, Director of Counseling Services. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions for those areas as well. Shout out to Kara. Thank you for your help behind the scenes. Definitely seeing some names, repeat names of folks that are joining us week to week. I wish we could see your faces, but it's great to have you. And as always, have a great night. Stay well and stay cool. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.